Biology Role Model Project, Dr. Keith Norris. Dr. Norris became involved in medicine because of the disparities he witnessed in healthcare for minorities. In a documentary, he stated he enjoyed the feeling of satisfaction after making another person's life better. He also became involved because his work enables him to make a difference in the lives of people in his community. Norris graduated from Cornell at the age of 19, where he majored in biochemistry and genetics. He then obtained his medical degree from Howard University School of Medicine and later completed a residency in internal medicine at Howard University Hospital. Afterward, he went to UCLA School of Medicine and Wadsworth Veterans Administration Medical Center, where he completed 2 other fellowships involving nephrology and research. Although there is no mention of particular life circumstances he endured, his educational success stands firm as an example of boundaries he's crossed to reach the prestigious platform he occupies today. Dr. Keith Norris is originally from Jamaica, Queens, New York. One of his hobbies includes running on the beaches of Los Angeles, California. On a day-to-day basis, he works on personal research studies, sees patients from his studies, and conducts administrative research at the University of California, Los Angeles. I admire his involvement in advancing healthcare geared specifically toward marginalized groups. Norris aims to combat the prominent issue of chronic kidney disease and hypertension comparatively in individuals of African American descent. In general, disparities in healthcare remains a dire issue, partially due to the lack of devotion toward minority groups. Norris has worked to increase diversity in the biomedical workforce. I identify with him because his research is centered around disadvantaged populations. I'm interested in understanding how different diseases and illnesses affect other populations and why there are variations in care. Norris aims to formulate answers related to health discrepancies and perform research to bridge this prominent gap. I admire his propensity to fight for improvement pertaining to a demographic who lacks the capability to do so as a result of circumstance. His work encourages others to lead and meditate about what kind of an impact they want to leave in the medical field down the line. Norris is very involved in the fields of biochemistry and genetics. Dr. Norris specializes in nephrology. Norris hopes to answer one significant question: how can we improve the prevention and treatment of chronic kidney disease among the African American and Latino population? He looks at a particular angle of this in his most recent research paper. Norris most recently wrote a scholarly article titled "The Interplay Between Dietary Phosphorus, Protein Intake, and Mortality in a Prospective Hemodialysis Cohort." Hemodialysis is a procedure normally meant for those with chronic kidney disease. It is performed to filter out water and any waste from the blood in the place of unhealthy or non-functioning kidneys. The issue at hand was that restricting phosphorus could potentially result in increased mortality rates for several groups of hemodialysis patients. It was initially established that higher phosphorus serum levels coincided with decreased survival for hemodialysis patients. Medical physicians had encouraged the limitation of dietary phosphorus to prevent hyperphosphatemia, a condition that happens to have no symptoms most often. Norris studied a diverse cohort of future hemodialysis patients from a study already taking place. The cohort was called the Malnutrition, Diet, and Racial Disparities in Chronic Kidney Disease Cohort. Among slightly over 1,000 individuals ranging from 18 to 85 years, 415 patients were selected from 16 groups. Included patients had to sign a consent form and receive a minimum of 4 consecutive weeks of in-center hemodialysis. The study used a food frequency questionnaire to collect data, which was later compiled into Cox proportional hazard models. A Cox proportional model is a statistical regression model often used in the medical field to ascertain the survival rate of patients associated with multiple variables. The questionnaire consisted of 152 multiple-choice questions, which inquired about 107 items. The questions were related to how often and how much of different beverages and food containing phosphorus were ingested over a period of months. Questions could be answered never, monthly, weekly, or daily. The amount they answered was based on pictures referencing smaller or larger portions. The different models compared dietary phosphorus intake as tertiles, looking at all the causes of mortality risk. In the following figure, A represents daily absolute dietary phosphorus intake, B displays daily dietary phosphorus scaled to 1,000 kilocalories of energy intake, and C displays the daily dietary phosphorus to protein ratio. His studies conclusively displayed that restricting one's intake of dietary phosphorus directly correlates to the increased all-cause mortality rate in individuals treated with hemodialysis. Restricting phosphorus does not exceed the initially assumed benefits by healthcare providers, especially if it leads to a reduction in dietary protein intake and other heart-healthy nutrients. Further studies are needed to understand how varying sources of phosphorus for dietary purposes might have an individual impact and find out what else can be done to lessen the occurrence of hypophosphatemia without altering one's nutrition. The first objective may be explored in another experiment where the number of foods containing phosphorus might be limited to obtain more precise results. Here are my references. Thank you for your time.